All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. It was another wonderful melt up to another high, just like the other days, but it started off pretty slow. We opened up waiting for news from China with that whole meeting going on with London, and then it really was a bunch of other random updates throughout the day. Then we heard an update from Lutnick, kind of caused a little pop and drop, and then after the bell, we heard from Lutnick and Greer, and that is setting up the trade deal. China, not a deal, just a talk, but it sounds like a deal, but it's not a deal, but it is a deal. And then now you have the CPI tomorrow. That is where all of the volatility this week is expected. It is the big event as we get into the middle of June, and then we roll into the end of the week. And yeah, we got to talk about it because there's a lot in store, from small caps to what is expected tomorrow. Now, we will be live tomorrow before the bell, a little bit early, so you guys, I should see you there. You guys are, I think you're part of the club, the cult. So yeah, it's gonna be a great time. But shout out to the long-term Chad. I have crazy shit to go over today. Crazy plays. I have crazy plays. I don't know if I should do it to him, man. I don't know if y'all ready. I got a couple pretty pictures. I have something crazy, actually. We're gonna start with the craziest pretty picture after I tell the pretty beautiful people in here good evening. So my recap people, you're gonna have to bear with me. But what's going on, baby? What up, Eat and Run? Caesar, Marcus, Bond of Bledsoe, Kurt McGardago, Vacation, baby. What's going on? How you doing, Luigi? Hayon, Connor, Dylan, Yonito, Dakota, Randall, Tyree, baby. Tim Whitman in the house. What up, Jim? What up, Devlin? Good evening, Mr. Enzo. What up, Wheatgrass? Ooh, sleeves. Mark Hines, Laurie, Canela, Dos Nacho, Villa, what's going on, baby? How we doing? Mustafa, Halisa. Oh my goodness. Good evening, baby. What up, CG? I'm hyped, bro. I'm post gym. I took like a 20-minute nap, bro, and usually I wake up from a nap. This was like a couple hours ago, though, so there's been a couple, but that, I don't know, I kind of hit today. I hope y'all feeling good, so let's just start with it, man. Don't worry, my craziness is gonna be matched with more craziness. Here it is, boys. Are you ready? And gals, good evening. Dude, this blows my mind right now. Do you realize what I'm showing you? I know we've been looking at this since the beginning of the year, and I know at times it looked a little crazy, at other times it trailed, but what do you, isn't this crazy? Dude, it blows my mind. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's one of those things, it's like, oh man, right when you think you see it all in the market, bro, it's always like, what? So yeah, man, this is kind of baffling. For real, I'm not the only one tripping out about this because, long story short, you're getting this melt up. It's getting kind of uncomfortable. It's not as if things have changed, and you have watched and witnessed some very historical moves. But ironically enough, like performance-wise, we right now are moving exactly how we moved in 2016 to 2018 during Trump 1.0. So I thought that was very wild, and we've moved at a faster pace. We're dealing with bigger numbers. We're starting from a higher point. Interest rates are at a certain level. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that, you could be like, yeah, this should be a lot different, and it was for a little bit, but now here we are. So once again, we'll see where we are by day 365, but to give you an idea so far, all this crazy, the market, in a weird way, this is exactly what happened last time. Just a couple of different twists and turns, or you held the turns and swings a little longer, but yeah, it's mind-blowing. So good evening. That is your first pretty picture and kind of your first key, but right off the bat, man, let's talk about tomorrow. So again, the market, like we said, it's going to be in this melt-up mode. We'll talk a little bit about the dynamics with small caps and some of the other dynamics, and you should keep your eye out for staples and healthcare, and we're going to talk about some of the other events. But tomorrow's CPI, it is hard data, and when it's all said and done, Do I think tomorrow is really going to change something? No, because the structural shift we're looking for with hard data, it is going to be a series of data that will be undisputable. But hard data, this is the main theme. We're waiting for hard data to either get really good or really bad. So that's why tomorrow is important. But now here's the deal. Non-farms was a surpriser. A lot of oil is still down. I don't know if you guys realize that. Again, it's really, really down compared to, that's the big difference when you look at the spending, because last time they gave away all this money and spent trillions of dollars when we didn't need to. Oil, they were like, yeah, let's fight a war too. Yeah, let's fight several wars. So oil and energy, and then only use wind. Pedal for your fuel. So, like, oil went crazy, so it's actually low. And remember, that's a big component of CPI. So, long story short, man, word on the street, people are expecting tomorrow to be low. The trend is inflation has gone down, even though the blue hair and the soft data has said that inflation is worrisome, and we've gone through all of this. You're following the playing, like the trading of Trump 1.0. Remember, what's the big thing? So, if I go back to that pretty picture that I just showed you, this is just price action, right? But what's something you should be thinking about? Like, really think about it. So, if it's obviously not Trump 1.0, but if it did trade like Trump 1.0, what does that mean? There's something else you could imply. You could imply that tariffs will not cause inflation. Now, if you just subscribe to Premium Plus, you should have already known this a fucking long time ago. But yeah, think about it. If this trades like Trump 1.0, remember, you already went through tariffs and you never uttered the word inflation until you got locked inside. So other than that, I think that's a very important key, but people are thinking that tomorrow is going to come in good. So that's the expectation. If it comes in hot, everyone's going to freak out for a little bit. Maybe, maybe people will be like, oh my gosh, rates are high too. But then again, think about it. That's the only dynamic there, because what would happen? Tomorrow, if CPI comes in hot, bonds are already at the danger zone. Ta-da! High inflation, people are like, no rate cuts, and then the bonds blow out. That's going to be your rate freak out, give you a little bit of air brakes on the rally. Otherwise, if it comes in low as expected, all is, business as usual. I would even argue now that the pain trade is if you get a low CPI. So if you get a really low CPI, even lower, and it's like a surprise blowout, core goes negative again, even it goes down to like 2.5 or something, and it's super deflationary, I don't think people will trip about the economy. I think that'll give bonds a bid, and that'll give equities a bid, and that would cause some of the pain trade. Now, here's the deal. This is the final part, because we talked about it. Again, when the market, a lot of hedge funds went short, then they kind of flip-flopped, and you're watching them all one by one, as you melt up, change their estimates and carry on. But here's the deal. Some people covered their shorts, but when it comes to the small caps, the Russell, there is a lot of shorting, and it's actually one of the biggest rallies. And believe it or not, the Russell, these mother effers, and even like any small caps, they're not covering their shorts. So if you've noticed, and we've been talking about it, every day, have you noticed like a bunch of random shit stocks popping off? And you're like, who the fuck buys this? And then all of a sudden, one after the next, every single day. And then the small caps, yeah, does that sound familiar? All of a sudden? Well, yeah, this is a very strong rally with those. And it's funny because it like leads with the market. Even then, people have argued, like I'm telling you, the word on the street is people are expecting soft inflation tomorrow. That some people are arguing that's why we're even melting up right now just on the S&P. So the small caps have benefited from it, and a lot of other reasons. But long story short, there's some people who have covered. There's some people now bandwagoning, switching, and getting on board. But there's a pretty decent cohort of the market that still hasn't covered, and it's causing some interesting dynamics. So we'll see how that plays, but there's a lot of a lot more moves that can occur through here. Again, depending on how the data is, if it's really hot, if it's really soft, and if people have to position, you're already, again, 3-4% within all-time highs, starts to get very interesting. So we'll see how this all plays out tomorrow. That is going to be the big one. Again, we'll be there in the morning, and even though it is the big one and we're expecting a lot, remember, we're coming into summer. If you want anything meaningful, it's going to be a collection of data. So tomorrow's important, but not really. You know, how many times are we going to wake up and you'll see it there? We're going to be there. We'll be prepared, but just as quickly as you get hyped and just as quickly as it comes, bro, it will go, and then everybody starts looking for the next carrot in the market, which will probably be trade data. So we'll go over that one here in a little bit. But now key number 2, besides the data, because you will get PPI this week, and that is actually going to be big, but tomorrow's the main catalyst. Keep in mind the conferences. So Goldman Healthcare, even like Wells Fargo, dude, all day today we heard from Google, we heard Microsoft. All these companies are like at these conferences, and you're getting quotes and moves. I think this is a pretty big deal. And the other thing is tomorrow you get Jensen. So keep your eye out for this, because after the data, if the data is not going to cause a move towards all-time highs or make people have a rate freak out, then it's probably going to be individual data. And then again, these conferences, they are producing a lot of catalysts. So watch out for that. And then the final thing you got to look for, if it's not any of that stuff, it is going to be trade. So today, like I was saying in the morning, last couple of days, we've all woken up and we're like, oh, China, United States, London, what's going on? Well, we heard towards the end of the day that random big ass pop on the market. Lutnick said it's looking good. And then after the bell, him and Greer, they said that they kind of came to an agreement and everything sounds good, and they pretty much have a framework of how to do the rare earth materials and the agreement they had on June 5th. So this is just a framework of what they agreed to on June 5th, but then they said it's up to Donald Trump. And then when it comes down to the exemptions and whether Donald Trump is going to extend the deadline, that is up to Donald Trump. So that's going to be your next carrot. They're saying talks went good, both sides. I think they're concluded, and he says they're always in contact, but I don't think they're going to keep talking in London how they have the last couple of days. And now just be on the lookout for Trump to say, we have a deal, we don't have a deal, or we're doing this framework. This is going to happen. I'm going to delay the tariffs for China, or I'm not. Or he'll be like, we'll see. I'll let you know. I'll think about it. They're tough. You never know. What is the carrot? Carrot is an analogy I've been using, carrot in a stick. That is a normal analogy that I think has been alive since like the 1800s. We could probably ask Grok about it, but it's kind of how this dynamic works. With trade policy, you either get a carrot or a stick, right? And then the carrot, we're like chasing it. It's one trade headline, that's your carrot. Oh, look, China deal. And then the market chases that, and then we get it, and then you either get another one or not. Or sometimes, again, he shows up, he knocks something down. No, you get a stick, and then boom, that's not good. And then you get clapped. Or again, sometimes we get the bad news, or when Trump starts to heighten the rhetoric, that's the stick. So the carrot is like the next real trade headline pretty much to chase. That's what I call it. So yeah, carrot or a stick. But watch out for that, because now you know what to look for. It's going to be what Trump says in regards to all of these headlines that have been brewing for the last couple of days. So other than that, the long term is absolutely ripping. And that is all I have for you for the keys. So now, let us get into the plays. So, right off the bat, I think you should be able to guess the first play. It should be easy. But yeah, we've talked about it a lot, and you got to be careful. Again, I have one play on the watch list. I was going to put the exact play, but I don't want to influence you. You got to be careful, brother. Okay? Small caps. Because here's the deal. This is an unusually large squeeze on most shorted, unprofitable stocks. Now, I think it's because people aren't covering. And you've seen this before. And you either ignore this shit or you get it while it's hot, but one of these days, everything in the market is going to rip the SPY, and it's going to be massive, and then all of a sudden, all of the dog shit stops going with it. Oh, wow, look at this song. Even the meditation music ended. Wow, right? That's amazing. So, yeah, there you go. So, do you understand? And this is like a gambling version of pick your frustration. You either ignore them or you get involved. But if you do get involved, remember, it's just a weird game of hot potato. And why it sucks, because it's high stakes, I'm telling you. Because you see all of it, it looks exciting. Everyone poses, oh, wow, look, I make the money, 1,000, a million. Oh my God, if it just yeah. But like, it's high stakes, because like I'm telling you, one of these days, if it ends up stopping, and then the market breaks out, you're gonna miss out on a broader rally. Wow, there's no more alpha to gain from anywhere else in the small cap land. But either way, it's catching people's eyes. We see it every day. Their stats they're not covering, and it's getting quite fascinating. So that's for the gamblers, that's for the traders. But again, you heard it here first, I hope. But that is play number 1. And now play number 2, you guessed it, brother. We already had a couple of plays on it. I had leaps, you know that? I bought leaps at like 70. I bought 70 leaps and I sold them for like 30%. I would have doubled up already on them. I'm so pissed. But I had short-term ones, and then we had some shitty ones that just came back to life as well. But NVO, oh yeah, and the long-term, we bottom ticked it, $58. So it's funny because, dude, people react hella late to NVO news. I'm telling you, man, this is a weird stock. I hope to see it come back, and mother effers are starting to pump it. I would love to see it go back to its hype days, but dude, this thing trades so weird. This is the 3rd time it's had like a big headline and it doesn't move, and then the next day it goes 7% on the headline intraday that didn't move it at all. And then the options have a ton of lagging plays. That's why you either hit them or you don't. I've gone through a bunch of different plays. That's why I ended up going for the leaps. Near the money works a lot better, but they kind of stay cheap. It doesn't really move, and then it wakes up. So I like it when it lags. If you pretty much watch NVO have big breakout moves and starts going 5, 6, 7%, you know, then I would just keep your eyes out for lagging options. Options that are cheaper or the same price as the day before while the stock advances. That is what you want to keep your eye out for. So I'm going to be watching that, but again, I think a lot of eyes and attention are getting back on there. So again, it was a Wall Street favorite. People hated it for a while, but I think the bandwagon is coming back around. So we'll find out. Other than that, long term, that is play number 2. And then finally, play number 3. This one, I made a play on it, but I kind of hate it because I made a quick free play on it a couple months ago when we first heard some headlines related to coal. But long story short, there was a headline today that Trump is going to be reversing the Biden era limit on power plant pollution. So any power plants or anybody creating energy that has pollution, they're going to pretty much get hooked up or less regulation from the Biden era. So I think this could be something to look out for. It gives me executive order vibes. And again, the last couple days, the drones, eVTOL, space, it doesn't matter how shitty the stock is. If there is a set of orders and it gets hype and it's big enough market-wise, you might get a little move there. So keep your eyes out for it. Or, yeah, calls on pollution. Maybe get involved in carbon capture if you're into that shit. But other than that, Chatadonia, did I tell you, have you heard about the long term? I just want to remind you the long term prevails in all circumstances. So God bless America. Thank you to the veterans. Again, shout out to the long term, but that is all that I have for you now. If you have any questions, now is your moment. Shout out to the long term. You have no idea. It's an exciting time. I'm telling you, I showed it there. It took us a couple years just to get past 10K. On the small account, but dude, it's gliding, bro. We're just gliding. What percentage did you say about the people in LA that could overwhelm them? I didn't say a percentage. I think it's like 10% of the population. I think that's what it was. 10% of the population, I think, is estimated to be illegal, but I think that's an estimate. I don't know if it's factual. It could be a lot more. It could be a lot less. It doesn't matter. Get a long term. UNH leaps. Ooh. I think, are they yielding 4? But I really think that UNH, you either high risk, high reward in the next 3 to 6 months. And I hope that makes sense with the leaps. Because pretty much if the next 3 to 6 months does this fuck shit and it gets worse or no development, you're going to burn a decent amount of time. So, and then that's going to set you, before you know it, again, we're going to be in 2026. And then you'll even get some of the Medicaid stuff, and then we'll see what's up in the spending bill. So it's just high risk, high reward. The risk is it's dead money and you buy it and it does nothing, or you're right and you just bought the biggest healthcare company in the world at one of the biggest discount. That's the thing I like about it. But remember, right now, healthcare is just, it's not even looking good. Every single healthcare stock is just not, the outlook is not hot coming into 26 and even 27. So you might have time. It's like kind of like Intel, and that's what I was saying. Like, I like Intel and they went crazy today. But I was saying, from the end of last year, beginning of this year, we might have to wait till like 2026. That's when I think Lip-Bouton and everything else kind of comes to life. UNH, I don't know if I want it. Like I said, I respect it. And I'm telling you, like, objectively, a company this size, this revenue in healthcare, it is literally the cheapest value-wise you could buy. It's trading like a 9 times earnings or something ridiculous. It's dirt cheap on a level of this size. So that's good, but again, the risk is that numbers or fraud, or there's a big write-down or big exposure, fines, fees that you don't know about. Again, opiate lawsuits destroyed some companies. You know what I'm saying? So that's your risk. Pound for pound, revenue, dollar for dollar, it's the cheapest value you could buy in healthcare right now. And that's enticing. But there's the risk of, again, all the stuff I just listed. So that could mean you discount this a lot more, or if that's resolved, this thing's going to bounce a lot. So it's not really about the price as much as it is confirmation of what the hell is going on. Does that make sense? It's more so like, once you turn the corner on this situation, then I think that's your answer. But until you turn the corner, it's going to be a volatile ride, and there's a lot of value to either gain back again or to be shed. So, but it's enticing. I'll be watching, but I'll be collecting my money market yield while I wait for some other good ones and buy my other. I like deep value. I like discounts. I like the cheap ones, but this situation kind of fresh and comes with a lot. But like I'm saying though, it's some good value, man, for just value fundamental levels. But if you have any fraud or any other problems, then all of that just goes straight out the window. So yeah, good one. So what else you got for me? Any other questions? Any other long-term? I want Pepsi, but now that's it, you guys. I think Pepsi, you could still buy it, but like, it was the same exact price the other day, and you could have got the dividend. So now it's just like you wasted the dividend for no damn reason. Even though it pays equivalent to cash, that might be the reason why. But yeah, have you considered investing in small caps? If it's quality. So, but my small caps are like $1 billion. But Papa John's was a small cap. We bought Reddit too. That was another great play. But the other small caps usually don't do too well. But I like quality. I like stuff that'll be around for 10 years and that I'm really know and use. And usually this stuff that is like that, it's already big and pretty gigantic by the time you know that. So, but I wouldn't shy away from it. When I first started trading and when I was younger and I was reading those Jim Cramer books and I was learning how to trade, you really want cheap, small cap stocks. And it seems like that's where you can make a lot of value. Again, it's like the long term where people are like, bro, you can make, I can make 100% in a day. Why would I win? And it's just like, because you could do it safely, little by little. And it's just like, you don't have to, force it. And if you think you're going to make all this quick, big money on these cheap ones, it's like, bro, these bigger value names, like even if you get like a small fraction, again, even on this account, like we only grab like I think 1 share of Netflix on the small long term, but like, or 2, but like that was still fucking enough. Yeah, I got 1 share, but it's still $1,200 for the size of this account. That's bigger than like other names. That's like 4 deposits. You know what I'm saying? So you don't need to go that crazy. And then if it splits, that's the crazy part. So I've dabbled, and anytime I've picked up a small cap, it's because it was a very valuable name, and I was just buying it at the low. Again, like the other day, Papa John's was below $1 billion when we bought it. You know, I bought Redfin. I think Redfin was like, what, a couple $100 million at the time when I bought it. You know what I'm saying? So those are considered small caps to a degree, but they were just like really valuable. So that's the only other times. But other than that, go with quality. Go with the business. Don't worry. Who cares how much it costs? Who cares if it's big, little, small? It doesn't matter. What matters is it is a quality company that you know, use, and will be around for 10 years. I can't stress that enough. Again, you are investing in the company. Think like an owner. And think about that. That is what will get you a very, very long way. Oh, shit. I didn't tell you. I have one more play. I forgot. This is the dangerous one. I didn't want to tell you. Oh, do you want it? Show me your long term. Do you all have long terms? No, it's not Boeing. I want Sweet Greens at $9. I'm down with $9, maybe 7. Oh, I don't know. I know you got one. You're up 30. That's good. Are you sure? You guys are just lying to me. People lie, motherfuckers. They do. They're I don't look to take a It's not SLV. So I'm not going to tell you the company. I'm going to tell you the idea, and you got to find it, and I do not endorse this. Like I said, I don't want to influence, and this is pure gambling. I have just noticed something. So I'm going to share you information. It's very interesting. I've noticed something very unique. So be on the lookout tomorrow. And this is what I've noticed too. Sometimes I see things, it's either morning or after hours. You'll get a couple of things and then it plays into something in the morning. But not going to tell you the ticker. This is not a recommendation. Remember, I told you this at another time too. But yeah, it's a new name, and there's a couple of them, but I found some specific ones. But low float China poo poo. So like I'm saying, if you get this abnormal squeeze, mother effers aren't covering, and now these China stocks are being hella weird again. And I've noticed some weird volume ones. This is all from the volume shit. And long story short, there's some low float China poo poo names, and they are doing share deals that are way higher than where they're trading at. And then they have made acquisitions well above their market cap. It's tripping me out. So that was the weird part. That I don't understand, but even from the volume level and some of the vibe with these China names, be on the lookout. So, but dude, I saw one, bro, is literally, this company has like a $4 million market cap. And again, this was just like SBET or whatever. Again, that was a low flow, super low flow one. And literally, bro, this company, $4 million, $8 million market cap, it bought a $600 million company. And I'm baffled by it because I'm like, wait a minute. It is an ADR, but it's not. It's all fucking weird. But long story short, we could get some free. I still have the free ones from last time. You remember I played, what was it? Remember there was those China ones? I forgot what they were. What were their names? Was it JYD? Here's Duo. That was the other one. Yeah, it was at like the beginning, end of last year. So be on the lookout for it. But other than that, pure gamble and dangerous. So just get a long term and you don't have to worry about that. You could live in your happy place, not stress. You don't have to play player versus player on fucking low float China poo poo stocks. You could just enjoy the breeze, sit in your chair. Oh, it's amazing. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys that one. So what else you got? Any other ones? Outlook on trade deals. Oh yeah, no, we heard about India. They said they have a framework, and there's somebody else, and then Mexico and China. That's all going to be ahead of G7. So I think India, Mexico, China, pretty much ahead of June 15th. That's kind of the path we're on right now. You're probably going to get more updates there, and it seems like some you might finalize, or you're just going to take probably another baby step towards phase 2 of the phase 1, talking about phase 1 the second time around. So we'll see. It's looking good, though. It looks good. Everybody wants to do a deal. I'll do a deal. Get a long term. Long term, Josh says. Josh said long term. I gave every child a long term. $1,000. One time. You gotta make the deposits. The 5-year negative. What do you think would affect our currency? Well, it's usually a safe haven, but I think really that's just a sign of bonds. And if they start going negative, I mean, long story short, bro, if Europe starts going back to negative rates, all these mother effers are cutting, whether we cut or not, and then we start spending 1.7 trillion a year. It's just saying there's a lot of effing money floating around. That's all I get out of that. So I wouldn't be too focused on the currency, because those moves will probably ultimately be tied into what the dollar does and the yen and the other situations regarding our policy and all that. But for now, the negative Swiss and Europe, you got to pay attention, because it's like they're going negative again in rates, and like it's part of the spending, whether here and abroad. It's like, dude, they're spending a lot now, and that just all points towards people easing and global liquidity going up. But for now, the economies haven't slowed down, so I guess that's the interesting part. Yeah, negative rates are crazy. I wanted to start the ETF account at the low, but it wouldn't let me that one time, so I guess we missed it. EM's doing good. I mean, most emerging markets, just EM is pretty much China. But so far, again, they've kind of been the winner on this whole, like, end of America trade. You like China for K-Web poo-poo? No. Or China K-Web? No. I'm talking, like, real dog shit, random-ass poo-poo China. Like, we're talking 1 million, 2 million share floats. And then they're just doing hella weird effing deals. And they get random volatility pops. So, but yeah, they're very, very burnt. I don't know how to describe it other than that. And like I said, I don't want to lead you into problems. So, but we've saw this once before. We got free trades out of it, but they look like they're ramping up. I think I'm early though, so we'll see. I think it all depends on the Russell and some of those other dynamics. Any way that we could lower rates that doesn't involve twist? I mean, productivity. If we if we actually raise revenue with tariffs, if AI makes people productive, and then now our spending doesn't look unsustainable, and we grow our way out of it, and then yeah, bonds could come down without the Fed intervening again. Or if people, I think bond yields can slash 0.5% all across the curve. If you just had fucking rich idiots calm the fuck down with their I hate Donald Trump bullshit. If they just put their egos away and just, relaxed a little bit, these fucking terrorists. But, yeah. Other than that, I love the long term. Big fan. I mean, we kind of are becoming the carry trade. That's what I was saying the other day. Literally, everybody's cutting rates. They're even getting negative rates. Everybody's low, and like you could go borrow dollars. You get paid 5%. You go borrow anywhere else and go take it and put it into bonds and get paid 5%. So it's kind of not bad. But then again, are you ready for this? I'm gonna say this idea. Are you ready? I thought of this though, and then you're like, because you're just like, bro, how can we lower rates? You know how we could lower rates? We should go camp outside of the Fed like the 1970s. You know that? Because everybody is protesting, and I'm like, man, everybody protesting is kind of inspiring me. So we should go to the Fed, tell them to lower rates, because part of the spending and everything, bro, they're spending $1 trillion a year on interest. So, yeah, that's another way. If we turn into Elizabeth Warren collectively and all demand to lower rates. Where are you, Elizabeth? Where's Elizabeth when we need her? So, yeah. But, yeah, definitely not a recommendation. Just, again, you asked how you could lower rates without lowering them. Again, certain things. You would need outside forces, growth, productivity. But other than that, pow. And that's why the bill is so important. We got to see what actually gets passed. The big beautiful bill. But that is the key. I wouldn't forget about it, you guys. All this and highs and whatever, summer, it is what it is, and people feel a certain way. But I do think the July and whatever bill we get, that is the game changer. That's when I think we're off to the races or not. That's when I don't think anything's happened. That's what I'm saying. Until we know the bill and it starts getting motion, nothing has. That's why, look, you don't think it's weird? So even Joe Biden, you had a way bigger front run and run up, but he hammered home the bill quick. So you got the money out the door fast. Well, like, do you get what I'm saying? Look, you're just waiting. Nothing has changed. We're waiting for it. So that's it, man. I hope you enjoy your time here, but you have a goal. You know what to look for. Any other ones? Any final questions? Otherwise, I'm going to have to take a dump. Yeah. So, Chad, if you have final questions, last call, get your law terms, and then we got to go. I still do believe in hard landings. Yes, deflation specifically. But, yes, I don't think anything has fucking changed at all. Any other companies realizing dividends rather than cutting them? What do you mean, realizing? Or increasing? There's a lot of, most companies do. If they've been good and keep paying. Secure the arc, baby. Amen. Newsom live talking shit. I'm down to listen. And then we'll head out. Where's this mother effer? Is this him? Yeah, 97,000 people are watching this. Let's see what this Homo sapien.
These are the men and women trained for foreign combat, not domestic law enforcement. We honor their service. We honor their bravery. But we do not want our streets militarized by our own armed forces. Not in LA, not in California, not anywhere. We're seeing unmarked cars in school parking lots, kids afraid of attending their own graduation. Trump is pulling a military dragnet all across Los Angeles, well beyond his stated intent to just go after violent and serious criminals. His agents are arresting dishwashers, gardeners, day laborers, and seamstresses. That's just weakness masquerading as strength. Donald Trump's government isn't protecting our communities, they're traumatizing our communities. And that seems to be the entire point. California will keep fighting. We'll keep fighting on behalf of our people, all of our people, including in the courts. Just yesterday, we filed a legal challenge to Donald Trump's reckless deployment of American troops to a major American city. Today, we sought an emergency court order to stop the use of the American military to engage in law enforcement activities across Los Angeles. This is all just fucking Walmart. If some of us could be snatched off the streets without a warrant, based only on suspicion or skin color, then none of us are safe. Authoritarian regimes begin by targeting people who are least able to defend themselves, but they do not stop there. Trump and his loyalists, they thrive on division because it allows them to take more power and exert even more control. And
That's
by the
crazy.
way, Trump, he's not opposed to lawlessness and violence as long as it serves him. What more evidence do we need than January 6th? I ask everyone, take time, reflect
Bro,
on this
Newsom
perilous
is
moment.
crazy.
A president who wants to be bound by no law or
Like,
constitution.
for real, like he's actually
perpetuating
just,
a unified assault
let's see. I
on
don't
American
know, bro. What
traditions.
if California secedes?
This is a president who in just
This is
over
nuts.
140 days has fired government watchdogs that could hold him accountable for corruption and fraud. He's declared a war on culture, on history, on science, on knowledge itself. Databases, quite literally, are vanishing. He's delegitimizing news organizations, and he's assaulting the First Amendment. And the threat of defunding them, at threat, he's dictating what universities themselves can teach. He's targeting law firms and the judicial branch that are the foundations of an orderly and civil society.
You're using
He's calling
judges.
for a sitting governor to be arrested for no other reason than to, in his own words, for getting elected. And we all know this Saturday, he's ordering our American heroes, the United States military, and forcing them to put on a vulgar display to celebrate his birthday, just as other failed dictators have done in the past.
Celebrating
Look,
America's
this isn't
birthday.
just about protests here in
You're
Los Angeles.
calling it a
When
forcing
Donald
them
Trump
to do a
sought
vulgar
blanket authority
display.
to
Shame
commandeer
on
the
you,
National Guard,
Kevin.
he made that order apply to every state in this nation.
I don't know, man. Well, I'll tell
is
you
about all of
my
us.
thoughts after.
This
I don't know if you
is
want to
about
hear
you.
me, but
California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next. Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived. He's taking a wrecking ball to our founding fathers' historic project. 3 co-equal branches of independent government. There are no longer any checks and balances. Congress is nowhere to be found. Speaker Johnson has completely abdicated that responsibility. The rule of law has increasingly been given way to the rule of Don. The founding fathers, they didn't live and die to see this kind of moment. It's time for all of us to stand up. Justice Brandeis, he said it best. In a democracy, the most important office, with all due respect, Mr. President, is not the presidency, and it's certainly not governor. The most important office is office of citizen. At this moment, we all need to stand up and be held to account, a higher level of accountability. If you exercise your First Amendment rights, please do it peacefully.
okay,
I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress,
Peacefully.
and fear.
You're a
But I want you to know that you are the antidote to that fear and that anxiety. What Donald Trump wants most is your
escalating.
fealty.
I want to.
Your
It's weird because I
silence
feel
to
like
be complicit
Trump was
in
trying
this
to
moment.
de-escalate it,
Do
and Trump
not
was like, "It's
give in
over.
to it."
We did it. We solved it." But he's trying to like, dude, that's crazy though. No, because I'll tell you guys right now, bro. And this is the problem as of late, even with like everybody just falling in line, Republican and Democrat. It's like, bro, you can have multiple thoughts at once, dude. You can agree with some things and you could still disagree and feel certain ways about others. Okay? Because I'll tell you right now, everything he said about like immigrants and rounding people up and kids not being safe at their graduation, that's wrong. I don't like that. I agree with him. I feel that sentiment. I don't like that. Let's be real. You could feel bad about that, and that isn't. I agree. You know what I'm saying? You know what I wish? Why didn't people just lay down on the street silently in front of all these cars deporting people wrongfully? And I feel bad about that. And if you're gonna try to, you can't feel bad. What do you mean I don't feel bad about Abuela? I've already told you this. So don't be so dense. Like, it is sad, and it's not like there is well-mannered people who do not support an overreach of power. And again, like I'm saying, I'm all for, bro, be here. My parents are immigrants. I don't think you should get targeted by how you look. I've been through it. I've lived in this country. And after 9/11, that was, again, I remember the La Migra days in Southern California. It's not nice. It's not good. And it is wrong. And you could feel that way. But at the same time, too, it's very rich that man goes up and says all of that when, again, in acting like he didn't recklessly allow so many people in to the point where we're doubting, this is dangerous and now it's causing all this, the way it went down, and he's saying all these people, it's like, bro, I think there's a good population of immigrants, but dude, they literally let in terrorists and they let in people that are clearly causing problems. That's not the seamstress, and that's not the people saying they're fighting for their families. Again, bro, I'm telling you, this is the moment where if you want, why don't you peacefully, like actually silently, you could go and stop and lay down in front of things, but it's like, that's not it, man. And now it's like, it looks ways just more sinister. And if he didn't cause the problem, I think he would be justified in saying everything he's saying. Does that make sense? If Gavin didn't cause and make it so broad and, cloud the issue by making it so ridiculously large and out of hand, I would agree with everything he's saying. But unfortunately, I can't take that seriously. As a resident of California, and again, and like I'm saying, I support the immigrants, and I believe that people here, even if they're illegally, bro, I don't think you should be overreaching. Again, go get rid of the murderers, the drug dealers, but again, if someone is not causing a problem, I'm leaving them alone, and I think you should too. I don't give a fuck about that. And that, call it whatever, and like I'm saying, to go and target people and like the weird ones, I'm not a fan of that. And you don't have to be, but at the same time, I think there is people that should get deported, and I think there is immigrants and illegal immigrants who fucking agree with me, and they believe that the troublemakers should get there. Again, just people causing really big problems, and that's why I'm saying it's like, unfortunately, if Gavin didn't cause the problem, homeboy would be spitting right now. And if they didn't make the problem so big to tell, I would agree with them. But like, look how big this problem is. He's definitely right about some area, but they're so like, dude, look at it. Look, open your, look, use your eyes, look, see it. This is unreal. And then to, again, like, I just saw Donald Trump get called a fucking PDF and de-escalate. And I think Donald Trump is down to de-escalate. And the homeboy is out here, and then all this Walmart money. Man, it's crazy, bro. So, yeah. Other than that, though, God bless America. And yeah, I'm not even gonna get into what he said. Damn, this mother. But yeah, you could go back on the watch list. That was just a nice rant after listening to Gavin Newsom. So, I don't know, man, but it's weird because it's been 6 months and people still got that. They are really just not. They refuse to like walk straight. Does that make sense? Like, it's still this weird snake shit for some. I mean, again, I would say for some odd reason, but that's nature, I guess. No, I don't remember the England one. But on that note, I'm gonna go sleep. I'm gonna go poop. I'm gonna go eat. Go pray. And that's it, baby. That's it, Chatadonia. Be easy. Rest up. Understanding, dude. Understanding. If you gain anything at all, gain understanding. See it through. Think through the consequences. Don't tell me you understand until you see through the consequences. Again, do you understand? Choose your frustration. You can do it. Isn't that crazy? Now you can know how. You can have the info. You can know how to do it, but do you understand? Have you sawn through the consequences? Are you letting it confirm? Oh. Chatadonia. God bless you all. Rest easy. Let's get ready for the middle of the week, baby. Finger to the sky. I love you all. And I can't find my horn. Where is the horn? Horn!